If you find it frustrating when a coworker is stuck in a pattern of blaming others, use one of 5 communication strategies to reframe blame to taking responsibility. Let me introduce Barry on my right, who just asked his coworker Matt how his week is progressing. When Matt responded, "I'm so frustrated. This will be the second week of turning in my budget late because Alex, that jerk in accounting, can't meet a deadline." Well, at that point, Barry suspected that Matt might be stuck in blame and as a result, could be blinded to seeing what he could do to take responsibility to find solutions for this problem. And Barry, having completed my Safe Conversations training and coaching, he knew 5 communication response strategies that he could use that could help Matt move from blaming into taking responsibility and solving a problem. Here, Barry will model each of these strategies. Starting with acknowledge. Barry can open up his conversation in responding to Matt by acknowledging that he's heard his concern. Here's how he does that. "It sounds, Matt, like Alex's failure to meet a deadline is negatively impacting your ability to meet your deadlines." Now, acknowledging is important for Barry to do so that Matt knows that he has been heard and listened to. And he may have to hear an acknowledgement before he is able to accept or even believe that there is a different way that he could respond. Now, once Barry acknowledges Matt's concern, he will move to any of the following 4 strategies. Number 1, he could ask a question. "Hey, Matt, is it possible that you need to figure out what's behind Alex's failure to meet this deadline and to discuss what's needed to get his work in on time?" So simply asking a question, not directing. Another thing to do is to be curious. And I'm convinced that curiosity did not kill the cat, but I believe curiosity prevented the cat from blaming, shaming, and breaking down working relationships. So watch Barry and how he uses curiosity. "I wonder, Matt, what you can say to Alex to help him or her understand how his lateness is negatively impacting you and your deadlines." So he's really inviting him to think about something. And he can also, by offering a recommendation, he can turn responsibility back onto Matt. So whether he says, "I recommend," or "I'd invite you," or "Have you considered?" I recommend that you find out with Alex what's happening, what's not happening, and what needs to happen moving forward. And one more, "I'm concerned." And here, I'm concerned that unless you and Alex discuss what's happening, not happening, and what needs to happen forward, that you will experience a reoccurring problem. In doing this, he's really identifying the negative outcomes. What can happen if you don't do anything and just stay stuck in blaming? Problems don't go away when we ignore them, and nor do they go away when we conclude we can't do anything about them. What Barry is starting to do here is to move into examining contribution, and that can allow you to get to accountability and accountability conversations. So we will discuss this more in videos 5 and 6, where we give models of an accountability conversation and where you do the steps of diagnosing the problem, identifying contribution, needed changes, and steps moving forward. Until then, in closing this video, reminder that people who blame rarely, if ever, create change. So join me in the next video, number 3, as we watch and hear how to alert a coworker of the negative consequences that come with blaming that they can avoid by stepping up and taking responsibility.